if a forced suicide is repeated on others targeted by the COINTELPRO operation, most notably Jean Seberg, an actress involved in civil rights. Seberg's husband received a forged letter from the FBI detailing an affair she was supposedly having with a black activist. The actress, who was pregnant at the time, did eventually commit suicide. Forced suicide on a target allows intelligence agencies deniability for the crime. In effect, it is the perfect crime. A total of 2,370 officially approved COINTELPRO actions were admitted to the Senate Intelligence Committee, but thousands more have since been revealed. Ultimately, FBI documents disclose 6 major counterintelligence programs, as well as non-COINTELPRO covert operations against Native Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans, Iranian Americans, and others. The major violence of the domestic terrorist campaign was directed at the black nationalist and American Indian movements. These individuals were readily imprisoned on false charges or assassinated. COINTELPRO did murder Caucasian targets, but did so in fewer numbers than minority personalities. The theory of counterinsurgency operations was first codified by Frank Kitson, the British commander in Malaysia and Northern Ireland, among other places. His book, Low-Intensity Operations, Subversion, Insurgency, and Peacekeeping, insists that infiltration and psychological operations be mounted against dissident groups in normal times, before any mass movement can develop. These tactics were adopted into COINTELPRO operations against American citizens in peacetime, with considerable energy spent ensuring that the different progressive groups did not link up and cooperate, particularly the anti-war movement composed of suburban white youth and the black nationalist movement. There was also a major effort to preclude African American leaders from linking up with leaders in the African continent. During the 1960s civil rights movement, infiltration of the KKK by the FBI reached nearly 20% of its membership at the height of the civil rights movement. These assets, along with neo-Nazi party members, were used to attack civil rights workers and activists. The man who bombed the church in Birmingham, Alabama, and killed 2 young black girls was an FBI informant and agent provocateur who had infiltrated into the KKK by the FBI in order to promote and execute greater acts of violence. The favorite tactic used in infiltration operations of activist groups is the snitch jacket, where suspicion of being an informant is used against legitimate leaders. The operatives are directed to disrupt meetings, spread rumors, inflame disagreements over what people normally fight over, money, politics, race, gender, and sex, in order to exacerbate rivalries and jealousy, and to lead zealous activists into unnecessary danger and set them up for prosecution. False news stories, forged documents, and anonymous letters and anonymous phone calls, as well as pressure on landlords and employers, make up just some of the strategies used. During the Reagan administration, COINTELPRO activities increased against individuals and groups seeking to aid refugees and dissidents of wars in Central America. The case of Judy Bari, who along with a colleague was nearly killed by a car bomb set by the FBI, is proof that these COINTELPRO actions are now a permanent part of FBI and other intelligence agency activity. Barry was active in the environmental movement and permanently disabled when the FBI planted a car bomb in her car to thwart her activities towards saving an endangered stand of ancient redwood trees. Barry later died from natural causes, but not before winning a $4 million settlement against the U.S. government for her attempted assassination. COINTELPRO operations are presently being incorporated into the development of microwave and radio frequency weapons. Dissidents that in the past were visibly attacked or assassinated in a traditional manner are now targeted for elimination using electromagnetic weapons. These internal dissidents are used as human guinea pigs and experimental subjects in terminal experiments that are designed to force a suicide, to force incarceration, or premature death due to the effects of non-ionizing and ionizing radiation. These political assassinations are accomplished using invisible bullets that leave no obvious injuries. The theme of a forced suicide, such as the Martin Luther King and Gene Seberg blackmail letters, have remained constant. What is different is that driving a target to suicide using microwave hearing or voice to skull, as well as other techniques, is perfectly deniable, because these individuals are tormented invisibly and unable to receive help from friends and family or from the psychiatric community, due to the fact that the symptoms of the attacks mimic symptoms of schizophrenia that naturally affect several million Americans. Thus, the intelligence agencies have achieved deniability for these crimes.